Boxing Truth here. I had to talk about the recent interview on Fight Hype. It involved Angel Garcia, and he was asked about the Thurman and Porter fight, the potential Thurman and Porter fight, and it was a hilarious interview. The what he stated, he pretty much just explained the Al Heyman philosophy with a lot of his regarding a lot of his fighters. Pretty much the Al Heyman way. He pretty much just told the media and what a lot of real boxing fans know already is that he'd rather Thurman and Porter continue to cherry pick, fight soft touches, fight the Rod Salkas of the world, and continue to make decent paydays instead of fighting each other. Well, here's the problem with that. I mean, when fighters do that, they lose a lot of respect from the media. They lose a lot of respect from boxing fans. I mean, they can see right through you. I mean, real boxing fans know the tactics of what promoters and fighters and managers do. Yeah, it's a business. Of course, a loss can damage a fighter's brand, but it's not the end all be all for fighters. I mean, fans love it when fighters dare to be great. They like it when a fighter shows the not care attitude of who and where he fights. Doesn't matter where he fights. If he travels and goes to other places and kicks your ass, you get more props for that. Especially against top level guys in 50-50 type fights, challenging fights. What's the point of fighting cherries for soft touches and doing nothing to raise your career and profile? It doesn't do nothing for you. This is what I don't understand. A lot of Al Heyman fighters have lost a lot of momentum because of this philosophy. Look at Adonis Stevenson, all the cherry picks he's had. He's lost a lot of respect. Danny Garcia, in my opinion, the criticism on him is very harsh. I think out of a lot of Al Heyman fighters, he has one of the best resumes out there. Because in my opinion, he has taken on tough fights. He was the underdog in some of his biggest fights and pulled out the victories. But the reason he gets criticized because of that Rod Salka fight. He fought one of the most hand-picked opponents in recent memory. The guy fought a former lightweight at a catchweight between junior welterweight and welterweight. Got a pretty good payday out of it. I reported $720,000. I mean, this guy got paid more for a cherry-pick fight than Sergey Kovalev got in a unification fight with Bernard Hopkins. It was insane. I mean, how crazy is that? Danny Garcia got paid more money to fight Rod Salka than Sergey Kovalev got to fight a legend in Bernard Hopkins in a unification fight. I mean, does that sound right to you? No. But that's Al Heyman got the deep pockets, so that's why his fighters are very loyal to him. They get paid well, they get protected. They don't have to take tough fights. They don't have to. They can avoid each other. And that's the problem with the PBC. I mean, these guys are just not fighting each other. Yeah, I get it. The fights had to be fought at the right time, but here's the problem. Not every fight's going to be Mayweather and Pacquiao, all right? It's just not going to happen, especially in the situation with Thurman and Porter. Mayweather and Pacquiao were established pay-per-view stars. They were already pay-per-view stars when they were talking about fighting each other. At one point, they didn't even need each other. They were making a lot of money without each other. I mean, they were doing a million pay-per-view buys, in other fights without each other. I mean, all the hype jobs Mayweather fought in the beginning of his Showtime contract, Guerrero, Maidana, Victor Ortiz. He made a lot of money fighting those guys. At one point, they didn't need each other. Pacquiao didn't need Mayweather at one point. He was making good money fighting Cotto and fighting Margarito and Marquez. And it wasn't until he got knocked out that his brand really got damaged. But not every fight can be at the level of Mayweather and Pacquiao. It's just not going to happen, especially in the case of Thurman and Porter. Thurman and Porter, very good fighters. Thurman has potential to be a star. but he's not a pay-per-view guy. He's never been on that platform. Neither has Porter. These guys are not selling out venues. They're not bringing the type of market value that both Mayweather and Pacquiao had when they were first being talked about fighting each other. Those guys were legitimate pay-per-view stars. These guys, Thurman and Porter, they're not. That is the problem. That fight will never get to that level. This is what, I don't know. I don't know. This is what I disagree with Angel Garcia about. He was arguing that they should wait, but that fight's never gonna get that big. It's not gonna happen. In the case of Porter, I don't mean to, bring him down, but he, in my opinion, just my opinion, he will never be a pay-per-view star. He just doesn't have the marketability to be that. He doesn't have the personality to be a pay-per-view star. I mean, he doesn't have the fighting style either. I mean, are you very entertained watching Sean Porter fight? Besides the Paul Malignaggi fight and the Dillon Alexander fight, I mean, how many great fights has he been in? I mean, that Brooke Porter fight was dreadful. It was a hug fest. So was Broner Porter. I mean, a lot of his fights have been shitty. So he's got 2 strikes on him. 1, he doesn't have the personality. 2, he doesn't have an exciting fighting style. So how the hell are you going to be a pay-per-view star if you don't have one of those 2 things? It's very hard to break the pay-per-view barrier, break the pay-per-view barrier anyway. So when you have those 2 things going against you, it makes it almost impossible. That is the problem. I mean, I'm more interested in watching Kenny Porter talk and his interviews. I'm more entertained watching his father talk than Sean Porter. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, that's Sean Porter. That's just who Sean Porter is. He wants to be the quiet guy. He wants to be, the good guy. That's him. That's what he wants to be. That's who he is. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But it's not going to put asses in the seats. It's not going to be demanding a market value. I mean, it's not going to create a star. Thurman, in my potential, has more of a chance to be that guy. He's very personable. He's outgoing. He's got personality. He seems to know the history of the sport. He seems like a smart guy. He seems to get it. The only problem is he's not getting the fights that can raise his profile. 26-0, 22 knockouts, and his best win is Diego Chavez. I mean, that's a problem. He needs these fights in order to break that barrier, to perhaps have a chance to be a pay-per-view star. If he ain't gonna get those fights, if he's gonna continue to fight faded champions and never was and blown up lightweights, it's never gonna happen. That is a problem with Al Haymon's philosophy. He needs to understand that he's got to make big fights at one point. Some fighters want to be protected. I'm not saying everything's all his fault, but from what Angel Garcia just said, that sounds like Al Haymon talking. I mean, only that it's coming out of Angel Garcia's mouth. So I don't know what's up with this Thurman Porter fight. They're saying it's gonna go down. There's still no date. If you guys saw the Thurman interview, he finally spoke about the fight. He said it's gonna happen, but when I watched it the first time, it made it seem like it wasn't gonna happen next. He made it seem like that fight needs the proper build-up, but he's saying it's gonna happen. It should be announced within a week or 2. Who knows? It might even push it back to April. The only problem is I'm getting sick and tired of speculating about this fight. I mean, are they gonna fight or not? And if they do fight, it was the worst way that they could have fought. I mean, these guys, if they do fight in March or April or whatever, they'll be entering the ring going into about 9 and 10 months of inactivity. Like, what is that? These guys are in their primes. If they weren't gonna fight until March or April, they could have took a fight in between last year, November, December, and be more sharp to fight each other early this year. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, these guys are gonna come in and fight each other in so much inactivity, and that's just not the right way for a young fighter to go into a big fight like that. It is what it is. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.